Hey friends! So for this week's art project for kindergarten, first, and second grade, we are going to be creating a collage portrait. So I'm just going to go over what you'll need real quick for your project. So grab these things. You're going to need something to color with. I'm using markers. You can also use crayons as well. I actually used a combination of markers and crayons, so something to color with. Scissors, glue, your paper that you're going to create with your markers. I'll explain that in a minute. Construction paper if you have it. So I used a combination of construction paper and white paper that I just colored with marker. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside. So something to color with. Glue, scissors, construction paper if you have it. If not, white paper's fine, or notebook paper, and we're going to use markers to cover that paper. So let me move this out of the way. I'm trying to go quick, guys, because my last video, I tried to put it on YouTube and apparently didn't work because it was longer than 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to color my white paper, because many of us don't have construction paper at home. That's fine if you don't. I'm going to use both construction paper and this colored white paper. So what I do for this, and I also kind of like the way it looks because it gives it a really cool texture, and texture is how something feels. I'm going to first start by just dividing up my paper into thirds. So this is cut a little bit, but that's okay. So maybe I want this part to be red. So I would just color, I'm using the side of my marker, guys. Side of my marker, so nice smooth lines. And if you want to color the whole thing one color, you can do that, like what I did here. Just pretend that I colored the whole paper for the sake of time. Maybe you want to do it all yellow. Maybe you'd like to do it a combination of red and orange, or maybe green, different shades of green. I did fuchsia and purple in this one, so I did 2 different shades of purple for that one, pink and blue. So I actually used 2 sheets of paper to color all of these colors. We're going to be cutting them up anyway, so it really doesn't matter how they look on your paper. So let me move this aside. So here's what we're creating today. We are creating a work of art that is inspired by an artist named Pablo Picasso. He was a very famous artist who is known for a technique called cubism. That is a style of art called cubism. And it shows all the different views of someone's face. So we're going to create a collage portrait. Now, if you remember from last week when we created those awesome snails, remember these? That's a collage because we took pieces of paper, little squares, and we glued it to another piece of paper. We're going to be doing the same technique. We're going to be also doing a collage this week, but this time we're making a portrait, which is a person's face. It can be you, it can be a friend, it can be family, or just a made-up person if you'd like. So we're going to be doing cubism, which is showing different angles of the face. So maybe it shows your eyes looking forward. Maybe one of your eyes looking this is looking this way. Maybe you can see the side of your nose or the side of your mouth. So he used a lot of kind of funky colors, lines, and shapes. Shapes is what we're going to focus on today. One of the elements of art we're going to focus on, shape and color and line. And he showed, for example, the side of your mouth. Normally when your lips look like that, you're looking at the profile of someone's face, the side of their face, not the front. But he took all of those different angles, all of those different views of a face, and put them all together in one picture. So it looks kind of asymmetrical. So that means when you divide something in half, it's not the same on both sides. So our faces are symmetrical. If you draw a line down the center of our face, you can see the same thing on both sides. But in this case, you can't. So he did a lot of bright colors, a lot of lines, and a lot of shapes. So I'm going to move all of this to the side. I'm going to get a plain piece of white paper. And if you would like to use notebook paper, if you don't have plain white paper, that's fine. The first thing I did was I took 2 markers and I just made a line design in the background. So just a really simple, I'm just going to keep it to 2 colors. I'm using the side of my markers. I'll do straight lines, some zigzags. If you're in kindergarten, you just did a line project last week. Broken lines. So this should be pretty easy for kindergarten who just did a lines project. If I had you in kindergarten already in previous years, if you're in first grade or second grade now, this should be really easy for you. Bunny hop lines. What else am I missing? Snail shell. So I just did different lines in the background just to give it a little bit more texture and to make the background look interesting. If you want to add something different in the background, that's fine too. I just kept it simple and just added some lines just to make it look interesting. And as you can see here, I did green and yellow. And this one I did green and blue. So it's all just whatever you prefer. Okay, so my background is done. Now I'm gonna start thinking about shapes for my face. So I did 2 different colors for this one. So what I can do here is I can maybe use this pink portion. And all I did was just cut out the section. So these were connected. I just cut off this pink piece. And I used the whole entire thing, basically. I'm going to cut a rainbow line. And if you want to draw on the back, so if you want to take your pencil and just draw a rainbow line, a big, long rainbow line, from one end of your paper to the other, that's going to be the side of your head. Okay? So I'm going to glue that down. If you guys don't want to glue it, and if you want to just kind of cut out shapes and figure out where you want them first before you glue them, that might be a good idea. So here's my half of my face. Maybe I'll take some construction paper that I have, and again guys, you can just use this colored paper that you colored with markers first if you'd like, but I have construction paper, so I'm going to use it. And I'm just going to cut another rainbow line like this, rainbow shape. And that looks pretty good. It's a little bit shorter than this, but we can cover that up with our hair in just a second. So I'm going to glue that on. That's just, and if I want, I can even cut out a shape to show the side of the nose, like here. I can cut out that shape, or maybe I want to do more of a triangle. If I cut that out, look, there's my nose. I don't even have to really do anything. I can just leave it like that. There's the nose. That looks kind of neat. So for the hair, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. I cut out a half circle here, and then I did some 2 long strips, kind of wavy lines, and I cut them out for longer hair. Same thing with this, and I actually cut some sections out of the top to show bangs. For this one, I cut out a half circle, and then I just cut out little triangles to show texture. If you'd like, you can even just do cut out a rectangle if you want. Put some glue down and just cut little rectangles, little pieces of hair, and just stick it all on there like that. If you want to do like actual pieces of hair that overlap on top of each other, that would give it some really cool texture too. Now I keep saying the word texture. Texture is an element of art, and that is how something feels or how something looks like it might feel. So this looks like it might be kind of bumpy. So I'm just cutting out little rectangles, and I'm hurrying up before my glue dries, and so my video doesn't run out of, so my video is not too long again like it was before, because this guy has to make a second video here. I'm learning all sorts of YouTube tricks. Okay, so here's my hair. That looks pretty neat. I like that. So for the next part, I'm going to start thinking about features. Now you can add things like ears if you want to, where you just take a rectangle and cut out a half circle, and you can glue on ears. If your hair is shorter, if your hair is longer, I didn't even do ears for these because my hair was longer in that one. And you can do it ear for the other side, or you can just leave it off, because remember, it doesn't have to have symmetry. Things can be different on each side. For a lot of these, I cut out a rectangle of white paper, and I simply drew on the eye. So maybe I'll do that again. I just cut out a white rectangle. I'll glue it on there. And maybe I'll take my marker and simply draw an eye right on there. Maybe the eyelid, eyelashes, details. Details are what makes an art project awesome. Maybe I would color in the eye and the eyelid. So guys, it doesn't have to be realistic. It can be, you can use your imagination and use all sorts of different colors. The more color, the better is what I say. Maybe for the other eye, I will simply just cut out another piece of paper and glue that on. So guys, for the shape of the eye, if I had you in first grade, if you're in second grade now, you know how to do the eyes already. So basically, it's a rainbow line. Let me just show you the scrap paper. It's a rainbow line and a smile line. And that creates a lemon shape for the eye. Okay, and that's basically all I did for this. If I did not have you in first grade yet, you are going to be doing a Laurel Birch project, so stay tuned for that. So I'm just kind of, oh, I forgot to add my eyebrow. So maybe I can take another color paper and I can add a rectangle shape, or I can make it more curved if I want to make it more realistic looking. And I can add an eyebrow. Okay, there's so many things you can do for this, guys. The mouth. So for me, I did a sideways heart, which shows the profile or side of someone's mouth. Because remember, cubism is when you include all different angles, not just the front of your face, but the side as well. So I'm going to cut out another heart because I kind of like that idea. Here's my heart. I used an orange and red piece of paper. I'm going to put it under my nose. Okay. Now, I think all I really have left besides my other ear that I did not finish is basically my neck. If you guys want to add other things, maybe you want to cut out little tiny rectangles for eyelashes. I can cut some more of these little rectangles and you just like snip little pieces of paper. You can add eyelashes on one side of your eye. Right? There's so much you can do. The sky is the limit, truly. For the neck, so that your head is not floating in space, you want to make sure you add a neck. So I'm going to cut out a little rectangle shape. Make sure it's not really skinny, because for some reason we like to add really skinny necks to our projects. So we want to make sure that it's nice and thick. And I tucked it underneath my head. Cool. So I think that looks pretty good. I just wanted to quickly show you guys a video of how to make a Picasso-inspired collage portrait. And we're using a cubism technique. So this is what I came up with. And I really hope that you guys enjoy this project. If you need to watch this video again, if I went too fast, feel free. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on Dojo. And please take a picture of your work when you're done. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with and send it to me through Class Dojo. I hope you guys have fun.